He had the gentlest hands and the most reassuring smile. Dr. Marcus Vale had been the town's beloved dentist for 12 years, trusted by families to care for their most precious possessions, their children. But what his patients didn't know was that the anesthesia he injected wasn't just for numbing pain. Some of his patients never woke up, and their organs were worth more than their smiles ever could be. Welcome to Dark Secret Stories. Before we dive into this terrifying tale of medical betrayal and deadly secrets hidden behind a caring facade, tell me in the comments, do you trust your doctor completely? And if this story of a killer in scrubs sends chills down your spine, please subscribe to help us uncover more shocking secrets that will blow your mind. Bright Smile Dental Clinic sat on Maple Street like a beacon of hope for the community. The white building with its cheerful blue awnings and window boxes full of flowers looked exactly like what every family wanted in their neighborhood medical practice. Inside, the waiting room was decorated with children's artwork, magazines were always current, and soft classical music played from hidden speakers. Dr. Marcus Vale had designed every detail to inspire trust and comfort. At 45, he had the kind of face that belonged on medical brochures: salt and pepper hair, kind brown eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, and a warm smile that made even the most anxious patients relax. He wore cardigans instead of lab coats, spoke in gentle tones, and never rushed through appointments. Remember, if you feel any discomfort at all, just raise your hand. Dr. Vale told 8-year-old Emma Patterson as he adjusted the dental chair, "I'm here to take care of you." Emma's mother watched from the corner, her face filled with the gratitude every parent felt when they found a dentist their child actually liked. Dr. Vale had a gift with children. He could make them laugh during procedures, distracted them with stories, and somehow made dental visits feel less scary. What Mrs. Patterson didn't know was that Dr. Vale was studying her daughter with the calculating gaze of a predator. He noted Emma's clear skin, bright eyes, and the blood work results he had routinely requested from her pediatrician. Perfect kidney function, excellent liver values, healthy heart rate. Emma Patterson was worth approximately $400,000 on the organ black market. But not today. Emma was too young, too risky. Dr. Vale had learned to be patient, to wait for the perfect candidates. Adults with no close family. Patients who wouldn't be immediately missed, people whose disappearance could be explained by sudden moves or family emergencies. "All done, sweetheart," Dr. Vale said, helping Emma rinse her mouth. "Your teeth look perfect. See you in 6 months." As the Pattersons left, Dr. Vale made a note in Emma's file. "Monitor until age 16 through 18. Excellent candidate for future harvesting." Then he placed the file in a special drawer, separate from his regular patient records. The drawer contained 37 similar files. 17 of them were marked completed in red ink. Dr. Vale had been harvesting organs for 5 years, building his operations slowly and carefully. He had started with homeless patients who came to the free clinic where he volunteered. People society had forgotten, whose deaths went unnoticed. But as his contacts in the organ trafficking world grew more sophisticated, so did his methods. Now he targeted middle-class patients with specific medical profiles, young professionals new to town with no local connections, college students whose families lived far away, elderly patients whose children rarely visited. He would gain their trust over multiple appointments, studying their medical histories and evaluating their organ viability. When he found the perfect candidate, Dr. Vale would schedule them for a complex procedure requiring general anesthesia. He would inject them with a cocktail of drugs that would stop their heart while keeping their organs viable for harvesting. Then, working with surgical precision learned from years of medical training, he would remove whatever organs his buyers had requested. The bodies disappeared through a cremation service owned by his business partner, a man who asked no questions and kept no records. Death certificates were filed claiming various medical emergencies: heart attacks, aneurysms, allergic reactions to anesthesia. Dr. Vale's reputation as a caring physician meant his explanations were never questioned. But today, his next appointment was about to walk through the door, and Dr. Vale had no idea that his carefully constructed world was about to crumble. Rebecca Chen had been planning to visit a dentist for months, but kept putting it off due to her demanding schedule as a freelance graphic designer. At 28, she was new to Millbrook, having moved there 6 months ago for a fresh start after a difficult divorce. She had no family nearby, few local friends, and worked from home, making her virtually invisible to the community. Perfect characteristics for Dr. Vale's purposes. "Miss Chen," Dr. Vale greeted her warmly as she entered his office. "Thank you for choosing Bright Smile Dental. I understand you're new to our area?" "Yes, I moved here from Seattle," Rebecca replied, settling into the examination chair. "I've been putting off dental work for too long." Dr. Vale nodded sympathetically as he reviewed the medical history form Rebecca had filled out. No emergency contacts listed locally, no regular physician in town, no mention of close family relationships. As he began his examination, he noted her excellent overall health: clear eyes, good skin tone, steady pulse. "Well, the good news is that your teeth are in excellent condition," Dr. Vale said after completing his examination. "However, I do notice some signs of stress-related jaw clenching. This is very common, especially for people going through major life changes." Rebecca nodded. "The divorce was pretty stressful. I've been grinding my teeth at night." "I'd like to recommend a custom night guard to protect your teeth. It requires taking detailed impressions, which means a longer appointment with local anesthesia to ensure your comfort." Dr. Vale's tone was professional, caring. "I also noticed some sensitivity in your back molars that might need attention." What Rebecca didn't know was that Dr. Vale was already planning her death. Her medical questionnaire revealed perfect kidney function, no history of drug use, excellent cardiovascular health. Her blood type was O negative, universal donor, extremely valuable. Her organs could fetch upwards of $800,000 on the black market. "That sounds expensive," Rebecca said hesitantly. "Don't worry about cost," Dr. Vale replied with his practiced smile. "I work with patients on payment plans. Your oral health is too important to neglect. Why don't we schedule you for next Friday afternoon? I'll block out extra time so we can take care of everything at once." Friday afternoon appointments were Dr. Vale's specialty. The clinic would be empty except for his assistant Maria, who had been helping him dispose of bodies for 3 years in exchange for $50,000 per procedure. Rebecca would be the clinic's last appointment of the week, giving them the entire weekend to complete the harvesting and disposal. "I also want to recommend some routine blood work," Dr. Vale continued. "Oral health is connected to overall health, and I like to have a complete picture before any procedures. There's a lab right next door, very convenient." The blood work wasn't for Rebecca's health. It was to confirm her organ viability and ensure she was free of diseases that might contaminate her organs. Dr. Vale had arrangements with 3 different organ trafficking networks, each specializing in different body parts. Kidneys went to one buyer, liver to another, heart and lungs to a third. "You're very thorough," Rebecca said, impressed by what she saw as exceptional care. "I believe in treating the whole person, not just teeth," Dr. Vale replied. "Your health and comfort are my top priorities." As Rebecca scheduled her appointment and left for the blood work, Dr. Vale was already making calls to his buyers. A healthy 28-year-old female with O-negative blood would have buyers competing for her organs. He could easily clear $800,000 from Rebecca Chen's death. But Dr. Vale had no idea that Rebecca Chen was not the isolated, friendless woman she appeared to be. And he certainly didn't know that someone had been watching his clinic for weeks, documenting the suspicious pattern of patient disappearances. Detective Sarah Martinez had been a homicide investigator for 15 years, but the case file on her desk was unlike anything she had seen before. 17 missing persons reports over the past 5 years, all from the Millbrook area. All healthy adults with no history of mental illness or financial problems. All had simply vanished without a trace. What connected them was a detail that had taken months to notice. Every single missing person had visited Bright Smile Dental Clinic in the weeks before their disappearance. It could be coincidence, her partner, Detective James Wright, suggested as they reviewed the files. Dental visits are pretty routine. Sarah shook her head. 17 people, James, all healthy, all between 25 and 45, all visiting the same dentist before vanishing. That's not coincidence. The investigation had started with Michael Torres, a 32-year-old accountant who had moved to Millbrook for a new job. His employer reported him missing when he failed to show up for work and didn't answer calls. His apartment was undisturbed, his car still in the parking lot, his bank accounts untouched. The only unusual activity in his final week was a dental appointment at Bright Smile Dental. As Sarah dug deeper, she found a disturbing pattern. Dr. Marcus Vale's practice had an unusually high rate of patients who moved away suddenly or died from medical emergencies. Death certificates signed by various doctors, cremations handled by Eternal Rest Crematory, and no family members asking questions. "I want to run a background check on Dr. Vale," Sarah told James, "and I want to know more about this crematory." The background check revealed that Dr. Marcus Vale was a model citizen, graduated from Harvard Dental School, excellent references, active in community charity work. He volunteered at free clinics, sponsored Little League teams, and was engaged to a local elementary school teacher named Linda Morrison. But Sarah's instincts told her something was wrong. She decided to dig deeper into the missing person's medical records, looking for any commonalities beyond their dental visits. What she found made her blood run cold. All 17 missing persons had been young, healthy adults with excellent organ function. All had rare blood types or exceptional physical health. All had undergone routine blood work at the lab next to Dr. Vale's clinic before their disappearances. "James," Sarah said, her voice tight with realization, "I think we're looking at an organ trafficking operation." "You're saying a dentist is killing people for their organs?" "I'm saying a dentist with access to anesthesia, medical equipment, and the trust of his patients is in the perfect position to harvest organs. Think about it. Who would suspect their dentist of murder?" Sarah knew she needed more evidence before she could get a warrant. Dr. Vale was a respected member of the community, and accusations of serial murder would require ironclad proof. She decided to go undercover. "I'm going to become a patient," Sarah told her captain. "If Dr. Vale is targeting people, I fit the profile, single, new to the area, no local family." It was dangerous, but Sarah had worked undercover before. She would wear a wire, have backup nearby, and schedule her appointment when other patients would be present. If Dr. Vale was really a killer, she would gather the evidence needed to stop him. What Sarah didn't know was that Rebecca Chen's appointment was scheduled for the same Friday afternoon that Sarah planned to visit the clinic. And she had no idea that Dr. Vale had already begun preparing for what he planned to be his most profitable harvest yet. Friday afternoon arrived with an autumn rain that made the streets of Millbrook glisten under the street lights. Rebecca Chen arrived at Bright Smile Dental at 4:30 p.m. for her appointment, carrying the blood work results that Dr. Vale had requested. "Miss Chen, perfect timing," Dr. Vale greeted her warmly. "Your blood work looks excellent. No concerns at all. Ready to get that night guard made?" Rebecca nodded, settling into the dental chair as Maria, Dr. Vale's assistant, prepared the anesthesia equipment. What Rebecca didn't know was that the syringe contained a lethal cocktail designed to stop her heart while preserving her organs. "This might feel like a small pinch," Dr. Vale said, approaching with the needle. "Just relax and count backwards from 10. But before the needle could touch Rebecca's arm, the clinic's front door chimed. Dr. Vale froze, glancing at his appointment book. Rebecca was supposed to be his last patient of the day. "I'm sorry," came a voice from the waiting room. "I know I don't have an appointment, but I'm having severe tooth pain. I was hoping you might have time for an emergency." Dr. Vale cursed silently. Emergency patients were unpredictable, and he couldn't risk having a witness during Rebecca's procedure. "Maria, go see what they need. Tell them we're closed for a complex procedure." But Maria returned with a concerned expression. "Doctor, it's a police detective. She says she's in severe pain and really needs help." Dr. Vale's blood ran cold. A police detective in his clinic, on the same day he planned to harvest organs, was no coincidence. Somehow his operation had been discovered. "Tell her I'll be right there," Dr. Vale said, his mind racing. He turned to Rebecca, who was already relaxed from the mild sedative he had given her earlier. "Miss Chen, I'm so sorry, but we have an emergency. Let me reschedule your procedure for next week." "Is everything okay?" Rebecca asked groggily. "Just a patient in severe pain. These things happen in dental practice." Dr. Vale helped Rebecca to her feet, his hands shaking slightly. "Maria will schedule your follow-up appointment." As Rebecca left through the back exit, Dr. Vale composed himself and walked to the waiting room where Detective Sarah Martinez sat clutching her jaw. "Detective Martinez, isn't it?" Dr. Vale said, his professional smile firmly in place. "What can I do for you?" Sarah studied his face, noting the slight perspiration on his forehead despite the cool weather. "Dr. Vale, I'm having terrible pain in my back molar. I know it's late, but I was hoping you could take a quick look." "Of course, follow me." As they walked to the examination room, Sarah activated the recording device hidden in her jacket. She had backup officers positioned outside, but she needed Dr. Vale to incriminate himself before they could move in. "So tell me about the pain," Dr. Vale said, his hands still trembling slightly as he prepared his instruments. "It started a few days ago," Sarah lied. "But Dr. Vale, I'm actually here on official business. I'm investigating a series of missing persons cases, and I noticed they all had one thing in common." Dr. Vale's hand stopped moving. "Oh?" "They all visited your clinic before they disappeared. 17 people over 5 years. That's quite a coincidence, don't you think?" For a moment, the room was silent, except for the hum of dental equipment. Then Dr. Vale slowly turned around, his caring facade finally slipping away. "Detective Martinez," he said quietly, "I think you should leave. I think you should explain where those 17 people went." Dr. Vale stared at her for a long moment, and Sarah saw something cold and calculating in his eyes, the look of a predator who had been cornered. "You have no idea what you're dealing with," he said, reaching for a cabinet drawer. Sarah tensed, her hand moving toward her weapon. "Dr. Vale, I need you to keep your hands where I can see them." But instead of a weapon, Dr. Vale pulled out a thick file folder. 17 people, detective? I think you're underestimating me." He threw the folder on the counter, and dozens of patient files spilled out, each one marked completed in red ink. 37, Dr. Vale said with a smile that no longer looked kind. "You missed 20 of them." Sarah stared at the files in horror, realizing she was looking at evidence of one of the largest serial killing operations in state history. "Why?" she whispered. "Because people like you never look at people like me," Dr. Vale replied. "A trusted family dentist? Who would suspect? I've made over $15 million in 5 years, detective. $15 million from people nobody would miss." "But you made a mistake," Sarah said, her voice steadier now. "Rebecca Chen has been under surveillance. We know she was here for a procedure that was going to kill her." Dr. Vale's expression changed to confusion, then realization, then rage. "You've been watching me for weeks, and this conversation has been recorded. Dr. Marcus Vale, you're under arrest for the murders of 37 people." As Sarah reached for her handcuffs, Dr. Vale lunged for the cabinet again. This time he emerged with a scalpel. "I don't think so, Detective." The standoff in the dental office lasted only seconds before Sarah's backup burst through the clinic doors. Dr. Vale dropped the scalpel and surrendered without further violence, perhaps realizing that his career as Millbrook's most trusted killer had finally come to an end. The investigation that followed revealed the scope of Dr. Vale's operation. Hidden in his clinic's basement was a fully equipped surgical suite where he had harvested organs from 37 victims over 5 years. Maria Santos, his assistant, cooperated with authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. She revealed how Dr. Vale had recruited her by threatening to report her undocumented immigration status, then gradually involved her in his crimes through financial incentives and fear. "He told me they were already dead," Maria testified. "He said we were just helping sick people by providing organs they needed. I didn't know he was killing them." The crematory owner, Robert Cross, was arrested as an accessory to murder. Financial records showed he had received over $500,000 for disposing of bodies without proper documentation or family consent. Dr. Vale's fiancée, Linda Morrison, was cleared of any involvement after investigators determined she had been completely unaware of his crimes. "I thought I knew him," she told reporters. "He was the kindest, most caring man I'd ever met. I can't reconcile that person with what he did." The 37 victim files revealed Dr. Vale's systematic approach to murder. He had targeted people based on specific criteria: good health, rare blood types, social isolation, and financial vulnerability. He had studied their medical histories like a farmer evaluating livestock, determining which organs would be most valuable. Rebecca Chen, who had unknowingly escaped death by minutes, became a key witness in the prosecution. "I trusted him completely," she said during the trial. "He made me feel safe, cared for. If Detective Martinez hadn't arrived when she did, I would be dead." The trial lasted 6 months and revealed the full extent of Dr. Vale's organ trafficking network. Buyers from across the country had been purchasing organs harvested from his victims, many of them wealthy patients desperate for transplants who were willing to pay black market prices rather than wait for legal donations. Dr. Marcus Vale was convicted of 37 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During his sentencing, he showed no remorse for his crimes. "I provided a service," he told the court. "Sick people needed organs and I supplied them. The fact that my donors didn't consent is irrelevant. They were contributing to a greater good." The judge's response was swift and harsh. "Dr. Vale, you violated the most sacred trust in medicine, the trust between doctor and patient. You used your position of authority to prey on vulnerable people, and you showed no regard for human life. You are a monster in a white coat." The Bright Smile Dental Clinic was demolished 6 months after Dr. Vale's conviction. In its place, the city built a memorial garden honoring the 37 victims of the dental chair killer, as the media had dubbed him. Detective Sarah Martinez received a commendation for her work on the case, but she struggled with nightmares about how many victims might still be undiscovered. 5 years, 37 people, she told reporters. "How did nobody notice? How did we miss the signs for so long?" The case led to major reforms in medical oversight and missing persons investigations. New protocols required multiple doctor signatures for any dental procedures involving general anesthesia, and dental practices were required to report patient deaths to state medical boards within 24 hours. Rebecca Chen moved away from Millbrook, but became an advocate for medical ethics reform. "Dr. Vale taught me that evil can wear the kindest face," she said. "We need to be more vigilant about the people we trust with our lives." The organ trafficking network that Dr. Vale had supplied was dismantled through a multi-state investigation. Dozens of buyers and intermediaries were arrested, and new regulations were implemented to track organ donations and prevent black market sales. Dr. Vale remains in maximum security prison, where he spends his days in solitary confinement. Fellow inmates and guards alike shun him, disgusted by the violation of trust his crimes represented. Even among criminals, there are certain lines that shouldn't be crossed. The families of his victims found some closure in his conviction, but many questions remained unanswered. How many other doctors might be using their positions to commit crimes? How many patients have been murdered by people they trusted to heal them? "The scariest part," said victim advocate Maria Santos, no relation to Dr. Vale's assistant, "is that he seems so normal, so caring. If we can't trust our doctors, who can we trust?" The case of Dr. Marcus Vale serves as a chilling reminder that the most dangerous predators often hide behind the most trusted facades. Sometimes the person we trust with our lives is the very person planning to take them. Thank you for uncovering this incredible dark secret with us. This terrifying tale proves that the most dangerous killers often hide behind the most trusted professions. If this story of medical betrayal and deadly deception left you questioning everyone in a white coat, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this warning. Subscribe to Dark Secret Stories for more jaw-dropping revelations about people hiding deadly secrets behind caring facades. Until next time, remember, the gentlest hands might be hiding the darkest intentions.